Yo, what's up? It's Yo Rumi, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how I built a chatbot in hours. This is over the weekend, launched it, and generated thousands of messages via this chatbot. If you're interested in building your own chatbot, this video is for you. Let me talk to you a little bit more about why I built this chatbot. I've been someone that has been reading a lot about chatbots, and literally even on Chatbots magazine, I've seen Botless, Seth, he's the founder of Botless, he's incredible. I've seen all of his posts on, I follow him on Facebook and on Twitter and everywhere, and I see all these chatbots that have been launched on Product Hunt. It was definitely something that I needed to learn more about, and for me, the easiest way to learn something is by immersing myself in that and by building a side project and doing this. And my goal was to not only learn about chatbots, but learn about the chatbot ecosystem and the tools that were out there. I found myself looking on a browser window, and I was looking at some artwork from an artist that I like, Alec Monopoly. So you might have seen some of his work. It's kind of like the Monopoly Man graffiti street art, but I'm pretty much obsessed with a lot of his work and some other artwork. So I was like, why don't I build a chatbot for people to discover artist artwork and purchase all through Messenger? So I kind of come up with this initial idea just out of the fact that I like artwork, and that would be a cool way to get involved and combine my interest through this project of a chatbot. First off, it's all right, let's just start to Google and look on Product Hunt and see if there's any kind of art chatbot that's out there. Well, as I just said, Art Chatbot, that's exactly how I came upon the name. So I immediately went to GoDaddy and I typed in www.artchatbot.com, and to my surprise, man, it was available. So I clicked purchase on that, $9.99, I had the domain name. Just like with Studio Time, I used Squarespace logo generator, which is a visual kind of logo creation tool. So I didn't have to use Photoshop, I didn't have to use Sketch or any sophisticated design tool. I simply used Squarespace logo generator to generate the initial logo for Art Chatbot. So I had the name, domain, and logo. Now I needed to figure out, how am I actually going to build this? So I started researching some tools, and then also joining some of the chatbot developer groups on Facebook, which I can link down here to some of those, which are a huge resource and a lot of knowledge sharing going on. But I found Chatfuel. So Chatfuel is an easy way to create a chatbot, and it's basically a visual kind of chatbot creation platform. And I started to just see what the other options were, and I just said, okay, I'm just going to commit to using Chatfuel and learn how to use it. So sign up for Chatfuel, super easy platform to use, by the way. They actually have templates that are on there, so you can get started using a template and modify it towards your needs. Now, once I had created my account through Chatfuel and the Facebook page for Art Chatbot, which I needed because that's how people were gonna send a message to Art Chatbot, I just got started using one of their placeholder templates, and I just understood from there, chatbots are all about conversation design. So just like when you roadmap an app or even a website, kind of the wireframing process, you can use that similar process to actually create the chatbot using Chatfuel. So you can think about things like blocks, and so when someone types an initial message, this block then goes to a next block, and you can have different variable blocks to send them different messages or display other information, and then all of that together composes this kind of conversational design of the chatbot. It's really not that complicated. To be honest, it's probably one of the easiest things I've ever built, and that's Art Chatbot. So within about 30 minutes, I had the initial template in place for Art Chatbot, and I just started testing real time the messaging on this, and just started iterating the conversational design of what Art Chatbot would be and what it actually is now in the stages it is live. And I'll link down here and screenshot also the website that I created, and you can actually test it out yourself and let me know what you think and give me some feedback on it. I'll obviously want to improve it. But you can kind of get a really good idea of that conversation design of Art Chatbot. So in about 30 minutes to an hour, I had this initial version of the Art Chatbot actually built. What I did from there was I wanted to go ahead and get people to start using this. What I did was I actually open sourced most of the build in doing that, I started to tweet about what I was doing. I let people first off know, hey, I'm building a side project, Art Chatbot, on Twitter. I started to join and post in a lot of these groups for, chatbot developers and chatbot communities on Facebook. I also shared on my personal Facebook. I also shared on my Instagram, which I'll link down here. It's at Yorumi, and then also Instagram stories, and I really showed people what I was doing. As I was doing that, people were becoming aware of this chatbot project that I was building. They were giving me feedback, being involved in the process, and obviously once I had this ready to launch, some people already knew of what I was doing and they were aware of it, and they had kind of participated in it in some sense in their mind. So I had some initial first users and an initial traction before I'd even launched. Keep in mind, this is literally within about the first hour to 2 hours. As I was going through this process and letting people know what I was doing and sharing more on the project, I also created a Google Doc where I was gonna create a public product roadmap so people could contribute their feedback and their potential feature requests to this chatbot, all via link, and I'll create a bit.ly short link to that so I could send that out, on all my social, and I could track that. But I wanted people to be involved in this project because if they were, then they were gonna have some investment in the project and be more willing to probably share it, and I could build some initial kind of traction and momentum as I launched. So people at this time were aware of what I was doing. They were giving me some feedback. I was kind of taking that feedback, I was adding it to the Google Doc. And then at the same time, I was being very open and honest about how many users, you could say, the chatbot had, and then the amount of messages that it was sending. So I was sharing the analytics, and that is actually something that is interesting to a lot of people that I found out is people want to know, not only the process of how you build these things, but also like how do you actually launch these, and how effective are the launches? Are people messaging it? If so, what are the actual analytics like? So these are things that typically startups don't share as much. So I was being open and honest and open sourcing most of this, which was actually its own kind of angle of interest that people started becoming interested in. So at that time, I had the initial chatbot built, and I had an initial kind of community around this that I created in the first users. One of the biggest objectives for having a chatbot website is not only to let people know about what the chatbot is and the functionality, but simply to get people to message it. Because once you send a message to a chatbot that is technically considered a user, and I'll just use air quotes because that's loosely defined, but that is an opt-in and that's considered a user, and for analytics that starts the messages that are count as messages that you send out. I'll link to it down here and I'll screenshot with you the current website, but it is www.artchatbot.com. But as you can see, I just simply have the name, the logo, the tagline. I have a large button that's the call to action. And then I have a visual image of the Art Chatbot and some of the artwork that's displayed. And then also at the very bottom in the footer, I do have a link to that open source Google Doc, so people that come to the site can not only see Art Chatbot, not only send it a message, but be aware of, hey, you can contribute your feedback to Art Chatbot, and you can see the analytics, real-time kind of open source of this project, and stay up to date and in the loop with this. I've actually found that there's been thousands of hits to that Google Doc, and a lot of people are very interested in how many messages are being sent to and contributing to this. So it's been a really cool project for me, and not only have I learned a lot about chatbots, built out a network of other chatbot developers, of people that are working on, building chatbot kind of tools to the developer ecosystem, but also too perfecting my process of not only how do I approach side projects, but how do I build them? How do I market them? How do I share more information about these projects to people? And then also learning what are people interested in, seeing with these side projects, and really sharing it. So that's one of the biggest things that I like doing, is just being open and honest and open sourcing a lot of these side projects and sharing with people. Hopefully you know a little bit more about Art Chatbot, how I'm approaching chatbots, and how I got started building this, how effective it's been, I'll link down below to all the tools and resources that I use to build this chatbot, and hit subscribe so that way I can keep making these videos, and comment below to let me know any questions that you have on chatbots or anything relevant to this, and also what you want me to make my next video on. See ya.